Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting through the noise to understand a really huge shift that's reshaping how basically all the digital entertainment and media you consume gets made.
Exactly.
We're diving into the global virtual production market. It's this fascinating space where, technology meets storytelling.
It really is.
You've shared some incredible sources with us, especially the insights from cognitive market research. And our mission today is to sort of unpack the most surprising facts, the crucial trends, and give you a really clear picture of just how fast this market is growing and, well, what that means for the future of content.
And what's really transformative here, I think, is how virtual production isn't just like an upgrade. It's fundamentally redefining the whole creative process.
Right.
It's not just about cool new tech or flashy effects. It's really about solving some long-standing production headaches and honestly unlocking totally new creative avenues.
Okay.
So we'll explore the impressive scale of this growth, who the key players are driving it globally, and maybe touch on what's actually fueling this super rapid adoption.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this with some fascinating numbers. But maybe first, just quickly, let's set the stage for anyone who might be newer to virtual production.
Good idea.
Think of it as a radical step up from the old green screens. Instead of just a blank green wall, virtual production often uses these huge LED walls, right? Displaying real-time computer-generated environments.
Exactly. Real time is key.
So actors and crews can actually perform inside the digital world, seeing the final background live while they shoot.
Which is a game changer.
Yeah, it drastically cuts down on expensive reshoots and just opens up incredible creative freedom.
Totally.
So with that context, let's look at the overall growth. And it is pretty jaw-dropping. In 2021, the global virtual production market was valued at $1,809.68 million.
Okay.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. By 2025, just a few years later, that number jumped to $3,118.4 million.
Wow, quite a leap.
And the projections for 2033, a staggering 9,259.55 million. That represents a compound annual growth rate, the GDR, of 14.573%.
So what does a key GR like that actually mean for us, as people consuming this stuff?
Well, connecting that to the bigger picture, a 14.573% CAGR over that kind of period isn't just like strong growth. It really highlights an unprecedented surge in demand and investment.
Right.
It signals that virtual production is moving and moving fast, from being an innovative technique to becoming, well, a core industry standard.
So not just for the big blockbusters anymore.
Exactly, not anymore. These numbers tell us the whole industry is seeing the immense value here. The creative control, the efficiency gains, being able to visualize complex scenes in real time. And all of that ultimately means more sophisticated, more immersive content for you, the viewer.
Okay. Given that huge global momentum, it's probably no surprise we see similar patterns regionally. Let's zoom in on North America first. They've definitely led the charge.
Their market revenue was $658.73 million back in 2021, set to grow to $11,114.83 million by 2025, and projected to hit $3,194.55 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of 14.064%.
Oh.
So what's really driving that leadership?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, the United States is the dominant force there. It grew from $537.52 million in 2021 and is projected to hit $2,572.57 million by 2033. That's a 13.936% CAGR.
Okay.
And that really speaks to the heavy investment concentration in Hollywood and Silicon Valley, constantly pushing the tech boundaries.
Makes sense.
But what's interesting is Canada. Notice Canada has a slightly higher CAGR, 14.747%. It's going from $81.68 million to $425.19 million over the same time.
Ah, interesting. Why the slightly faster rate?
Well, this relative acceleration, especially in places like Vancouver and Toronto, seems largely driven by pretty significant government tax incentives.
Oh, okay.
And a really growing talent pool. It's attracting international productions, looking for, cost-effective but still high-quality virtual production facility.
Got it. And Mexico.
Mexico's also showing strong growth, yeah. From $39.52 million up to $196.78 million. That's a 14.322% CAGR. So it really indicates a broader embrace across the whole region.
Okay, let's shift across the pond then to Europe. Their market is also set for a really significant climb. From $376.41 million in 2021, projected up to $1,814.87 million by 2033. That's a 14.072% CAGR. Very similar to North America, actually.
Yeah, Very close.
Well, what's compelling in Europe is looking at the individual countries. Germany actually shows the highest regional CAGR, 14.849%.
Higher than the UK.
Yeah, projected to reach $377.49 million by 2033. And that growth seems fueled by, significant investment in R&D, a strong engineering base that's eager to adopt these innovative production methods. It's becoming a bit of a hub for new VP tech.
Interesting.
The UK, of course, is a very strong contributor, too, growing from $59.1 million to $295.28 million. That's a 14.4% CAGR. It definitely benefits from its established film and TV industry and some early adoption by major studios.
And even, smaller markets like Switzerland going from about $20 million to over $90 million, and Luxembourg from under $5 million to over $21 million. They're part of this robust growth, too.
Ah.
It really shows how accessible virtual production is becoming, kind of across different economies, which probably means we'll see a greater diversity of content coming out of Europe.
Okay, now prepare for some truly explosive growth here. The Asia-Pacific region, APAC, it's the fastest growing globally.
Absolutely.
Their total market size is surging from $504.90 million in 2021 to a forecasted $2,833.42 million by 2033. That's driven by a really impressive CAGR of 15.47%. What is behind that acceleration?
Yeah, APAC is definitely a crucial area to watch. It just highlights how rapidly innovation is being embraced there. China, unsurprisingly, dominates the region, projected to hit $896.78 million by 2033, with a 15.676% in CAGR.
It's huge numbers.
Huge numbers,
Yeah.
massive investment in infrastructure, a booming domestic content market. It all feeds into it. But India really stands out. It has one of the highest growth rates globally, 16.528% CAGR.
16.5%. Wow.
Yeah, jumping from about $61 million in 2021 to $382.51 million by 2033.
What's driving that in India specifically?
Well, India's growth is, I think, a real testament to its vibrant local film industry, Bollywood especially. They're super eager to leverage these technologies for both efficiency gains and, frankly, just stunning visual storytelling, often on pretty tight schedules.
Right, right.
And then you've got other significant players like Japan and South Korea, famous for their gaming and animation industries, which are just like natural fits for virtual production workflows.
Makes sense.
And Singapore also boasts a very high CAGR, 15.827%. It's really positioning itself as a regional hub for media tech. It just underscores how fast this region is adopting immersive media.
Which means more visually complex, engaging stuff for audiences everywhere, really.
Exactly.
Okay, moving south. South America also shows pretty healthy growth from $123.06 million in 2021 up to $650.21 million by 2033. That's a 14.866% CAGR. What's driving this dynamic expansion there?
Well, Brazil is the largest contributor in South America, set to reach $234.20 million by 2033. It benefits from a large domestic media market, increasing investment in local productions, everything from telenovelas to feature films.
Okay.
And Argentina is also seeing very strong growth, a 15.424% CAGR, growing to $126.60 million. That seems driven by a really talented pool of creative professionals and a growing animation sector adopting these techniques.
Interesting.
It just shows, again, how the reach of virtual production is truly global now. It's impacting diverse content creation far beyond just, traditional Hollywood.
And we definitely can't overlook the emerging markets. The Middle East virtual production market was $103.15 million in 2021, projected to hit $538.63 million by 2033 with a 14.752% CAGR. What factors are contributing there? It's often seen as more of an emerging media market.
That's a great observation. The UAE specifically shows one of the region's highest growth rates, 15.501% CAGR.
15.5% again.
Yeah. And this is often tied to, those strategic national visions to diversify their economies. We're seeing significant investments in media cities, state-of-the-art production facilities, all designed to attract both international and local film and TV projects.
Right, building the infrastructure.
Exactly. And similarly, Africa is becoming an increasingly significant region, too. Its revenues are projected to grow from about $43 million in 2021 to nearly $228 million by 2033. That's a 13.926% CAGR.
Okay.
Nigeria and South Africa are the notable contributors there, largely thanks to their vibrant domestic film industries like Nollywood. They're always looking for innovative, efficient ways to scale production and, enhance visual quality.
Hmm.
So this global spread just really underlines the kind of universal appeal and the very practical benefits of virtual production.
What an incredible deep dive this has been. We've really seen the virtual production market is experiencing, well, nothing short of exponential growth all over the world.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
From those innovation hubs like the US, China, India, to the rapidly emerging players across Africa and South America, this space is genuinely transforming how stories get told and how experiences are created.
Definitely.
Which means that the movies, the TV shows, even the video games you love are just likely to become even more visually stunning, more creatively ambitious.
Indeed. And as that global appetite for immersive media keeps growing, these virtual production technologies, they're not just a fleeting trend. They really are set to become the new standard in digital content creation.
The new standard.
Yeah, and this evolution impacts everything: production timelines, budgets, the sheer scope of what directors and game designers can even attempt,
Right.
which kind of raises an important question for you, the listener, to think about.
Hmm.
If virtual production increasingly allows creators to build pretty much any world imaginable,
Hmm.
how might that impact the originality of the stories we see? Or maybe even blur the lines between what's real and what's rendered in the, well, very near future?
Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something pretty revolutionary in content creation. We're talking about virtual production, and it's really branching out,
Right.
not just Hollywood blockbusters anymore. It's changing things up in film, TV, live events, even industries way beyond entertainment.
Absolutely. And what's truly fascinating here is just the speed of growth. We looked at a recent report from Cognitive Market Research, and it confirms the market's really booming. It's quite literally changing how content gets made and, how we all consume it.
Right. So what does this all mean for you maybe watching or creating content? Our mission today is basically to break down what's driving it, what's holding it back a bit, and the really interesting trends shaping its future. We want to give you a clearer picture of this whole evolving landscape. So let's explore what's really lighting the fire here. One of the biggest drivers, I think, is this demand for immediate content generation. Imagine seeing a scene, visual effects, and all in real time while you're actually filming. Tools like Unreal Engine, which, started in gaming, they allow exactly that.
Yeah, and that dramatically shortens the whole post-production timeline.
Mhm.
It also kind of boosts the creative decision-making on the spot. That real-time feedback isn't just speed. Well, it lets creators experiment more freely, right? Fail fast, iterate right there on set. It unlocks a lot of creative freedom.
Definitely a game changer.
And building on that efficiency point, virtual production can actually be pretty cost-effective compared to the old ways. You use those huge LED walls, the LED volumes, and clever green screen setups. And you can simulate almost any environment without, flying crews everywhere or building massive physical sets.
Right, avoiding all those location shoot costs, travel, construction.
Exactly. It's a huge win, especially if your project is heavy on the visual effects side.
That's a really strong point on efficiency. But beyond saving money, what else is pushing this? We're seeing this cool integration of cutting edge tech, aren't we? Like augmented reality, VR, even AI, and those game engines all kind of working together.
Yeah, all converging. These tools let creators build incredibly immersive experiences, tell stories in more dynamic ways. It really pushes the creative boundaries.
Okay, but it can't all be easy, right? That same research you mentioned from Cognitive Market Research, it also points out some hurdles.
It does. And a major one is the high initial setup cost. It's a significant barrier. You need serious investment for the infrastructure. We're talking big LED volumes, motion capture gear, high-end cameras, plus the skilled teams to run it all.
Makes it tough for smaller studios to jump in.
Very tough. And that leads kind of directly into another challenge: the technical complexity and, honestly, the skills gap. Virtual production brings together software, hardware, cinematography, it's a whole new way of thinking.
It's not just learning one new tool then.
Not at all. It's mastering a completely new workflow. So there's a real need for people who understand that whole pipeline, who can connect the dots.
And then there's the standardization issue, or lack thereof. That must cause headaches, trying to get different bits of tech rendering engines, motion capture, virtual sets, to talk to each other smoothly when there aren't common protocols.
Exactly. It can be really inefficient, prone to errors, too. That integration piece is still evolving.
All right, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Despite the challenges, the trends are pushing adoption forward fast. One big one is seeing it used more and more in live broadcasting and virtual events, like for
Mhm.
sports, concerts, big corporate presentations, even news. Delivering these immersive, real-time experiences for people watching remotely. It's not just pre-recorded anymore.
Absolutely. And it's moving way beyond just entertainment. Think about industries like automotive, architecture, education, real estate. They're starting to use these techs for virtual prototypes, for immersive training, interactive product launches.
So it's becoming a versatile tool across the board.
Definitely. It's really becoming a cross-industry innovation tool.
And the final trend we should touch on is the shift towards cloud-based collaboration. That feels like a big enabler.
Oh, huge. Cloud computing means creative teams can work together in real time wherever they are. It makes the whole process way more flexible, faster, more connected globally. It's kind of democratizing access in a way.
So to sort of wrap this deep dive up, it's clear virtual production isn't just niche Hollywood tech anymore. It's this really versatile, transformative force reshaping, well, loads of industries. And the insights from cognitive market research really help frame that market picture.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture for everyone listening, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Hmm.
With this tech advancing so quickly, how else will virtual production start showing up in your daily life? What new kinds of experiences or interactions might it unlock? Not just for creators, but for, all of us consuming content.
It's an exciting thought, definitely. The speed of it all is, well, it's really something to mull over.